Bing. If you got a letter in the mail from the California DMV that is threatening to take money straight out of your bank account, I've got some good news for you. Well, you're still probably going to have to pay it, but they can't do that without a court order from a judge. Yay! Good news! Such good news today. The rule of thumb with all this is they don't aggressively go after you for money if it's under $1,000. So if you owe under $1,000, you can maybe avoid it if it's not pressing on you, but you're still gonna probably have to pay it. Now, shockingly enough, I am not a lawyer, but I do have lawyer friends. One lawyer friend I contacted off of YouTube, big friend. Another one is a criminal lawyer friend of mine. Another one who gave me the best information was one of my best friend's wives. And she was great. She actually went to work and researched all this stuff out. Well, take this all with a complete grain of salt, because as is famously now known throughout the world, California is broke. California has turned into just an immense shit show where, as is in the news constantly, people are fleeing California. So, as desperate people are, and as anything that's desperate, they may be out overextending themselves. But legally, they can't take that money out of your account without a court order. So if you clicked on this video because you have a similar issue that I have, that you got a letter from California saying that all of a sudden you owe all this money that you had no idea that you owed, I'm providing you with some value. I'm going to link in the description below the outline that I was given from my friend who is a lawyer, and I'm going to kind of read it through quickly. And then when that's over, I'll tell you the story on how I came to know all this and why I'm in this mess. Just because you talked to one person at the DMV, if you did, and you had a bad experience, doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to have a bad experience with every single person that you talk with at the DMV. Not every single visit is the same, and not every single worker is the same, and some are in better spirits than others. So you can basically call them every day and try to negotiate down the debt. You can talk about how COVID-19 and the pandemic has affected you. You can mention if you're unemployed, if you have moved, whatever your situation is that makes this maybe something, because this isn't something that happens to rich people. Like, rich people do not have to worry about this stuff. What is your reason why now you owe money to the DMV that may make it hard that you actually looked through YouTube and found me talking about this? That is a good story to tell to somebody on the other end of the line at the DMV. Always be friendly. Don't get into the trap of trying to get into an argument. You know, they're the ones that are doing you the favor if they do you a favor. So it's not a good thing to get them mad. Just try to treat it like that, like try to feel like how they feel, that they're getting calls all day long of people complaining. And after a while, it probably gets tedious. So just be cool, man. Just be cool. For your own good. For your own good. Do not hate the people that have power over you to their face. Hate them behind their back. All you want. Just don't do it to their face or to their ear on the phone. Never good. So after you kind of plead your case, that's kind of like the human factors that go into this when you're talking to the person. You can request a written verification of the debt and ask them to cease any collection activities. This is more of an official thing that you can do. And this is more or less just to buy you some time as you can negotiate more with more people that are handling the case. You want to explain that the notification that you received is not sufficient to understand the dates and the debts acquired. Okay, this isn't sufficient enough. You need to give me more than this. And then they have to process that so that we'll end up giving you more time with all this. And then once you receive that written verification, then you just redo it. You do the whole process over again. Well, my lawyer friend was pretty optimistic that if I followed her outline that she set, the process that I left down in the description below, that possibly I could get some fees waived from the DMV. Now, when I looked it on the internet, it wasn't so optimistic, but I don't know. What's really kind of weird about all this is it doesn't seem like anybody is a 100% expert when it comes to what's going on now, because we are living in sort of remarkable times when it comes to everything that's going on and the state of the DMV today and how much California needs money. All the problems in good old California. Man, how much does good weather cost? Jeez. Moving on. There might not be many of us that have the exact same situation, but I do think there are probably a lot of people out there who did get a very threatening letter from the DMV saying that they're going to all of a sudden just take money out of your account and take over your life until you pay them the money that is owed. What I want this to be is a message that if you actually call and try to negotiate with them, that there might be some hope, that it might not just be them seizing everything and they can't just do it. So that is the way that I want to organize these videos, is that I want to front load it with value. So when you click on this, that you don't have to hear me going on and on more than normal. So I think I did that, and I'll now explain to you how I know all this stuff. Anyway, so I live in Ohio right now. I've moved away from California in 2017. And where I live now, in my current living situation, I do not necessarily need to have a car. I basically just parked my car at this lot that I'm allowed to store it in and thought, okay, rather than pay insurance and all the fees and everything that it would, the money that it would cost just to have a car, I'll just keep it there. As time progresses, now I'm starting to get in the position where I think that I might want to have a car. Honestly, I'm starting to get into e-commerce a little bit, and I'm looking into YouTube, and I'm seeing that whole thing with Amazon arbitrage. If you watch an earlier video of mine, I talk about starting my Amazon sellers account. Cool. Well, I'd like to have a car so I could go get this stuff and start to become an arbitrage-er. See, California has my title. Why do they have my title? Because they mailed it to an address that I did not live at anymore. And I can't register in Ohio. Okay? So I called the DMV to inquire, how do I get, my title back? You know how I was saying be friendly to the DMV worker or whoever? I think I was. I think I was cool. But when they told me that I owed $840 that I had no idea that I owed, I got upset at the situation. I didn't get upset at her, but she seemed to, I think she confused my being upset with the $840 with her, maybe, and I tried, like, as sweat beads go down. No, I'm just, this situation's crazy. I didn't know. What do you mean that I owe? It turns out that since I didn't register in California for 2 years, and I didn't deregister, I didn't tell them that I was going to leave, that meant that as a year goes by, they said, oh, we're going to charge you all these fees because you didn't register your car, all these late fees. And then they did it again because they have no reason to believe that I'm not in California. Now, I said I have an oil change that I got in Ohio when I was here. I have actual documents that when I came to Ohio. I have documents. Not going to get into that, but I have documents that I moved to Ohio. Okay? So, and she said, well, the car could have stayed in California, which, like, oh my God. As anybody who is watching this, who is actually an Angelino or a San Franciscan or anything in California, live anywhere in California, you know very well that you're not going to be able to drive with expired tags, not for one day. Like you could have a refrigerator full of beer in the car and an entire dance club going on inside your car with a disco ball, and they're not going to pull you over quicker than when you don't have tags that meet the month that and year that you're supposed to have. They are hawks. They are hawks. Eagle-eyed police officers with like friggin' binoculars or something. I don't know, but we've all been pulled over. Many of us, not all, many of us have been guilty of being pulled over for having expired tags. It's like crazy how quickly they do that. How is my car gonna be there that long? Since they can't prove that my car wasn't there, they just kept charging me for 2 years to drive my car in a state that it wasn't in. So, of course, when the DMV worker, I'm not sure exactly right now what the term is for a DMV employee, maybe that's it, was explaining this to me, I think it was very justifiably getting sort of upset at all this. And like, what do you mean? My car wasn't there. You're charging me? You're charging me to drive on streets I haven't been in years? This isn't fair. This gotta be a way to get this out. And I said to her, I go, well, I have documentation that I left. If there was some sort of DMV court, I could prove this. And she scoffed, goes, there's no DMV court. Which I read as, there's no DMV justice. Like, okay, they're not charging you to have your car be in California. They're charging you because you didn't follow the protocol when you were leaving California. Now, my problem with that is, okay, but we're not necessarily told this. Like, I wouldn't have known about this at all if I would never drive again. I would have no idea that I had this bill. If I didn't kick the hornet's nest, I don't think that they would ever even contact me. It's so funny. They even sent the letter to my address here in Ohio demanding payment for my car being in California, like that makes any sense. They don't care. They don't care. You just didn't do the proper filling out of forms that they want you to do on some BS law that they passed. Makes me want to quote a Mahatma Gandhi who said, "There are unjust laws just as there are unjust men." So take that, DMV, state of California. Me and Mahatma Gandhi got a bone to pick with you. So I went and I checked Ohio's, what they call, they don't have a DMV in Ohio. Big difference. They have a BMV. It's like bureau instead of department. Ooh. Anyway, talked to the lady there, and wow, she was nice. Oh, it was so nice. It was such a nice day. And everyone's sunny disposition in the BMV is so much different, man. If you live in LA, you understand what a DMV experience is. Like, you're gonna be on hold for hours. It's a day-long excursion to go to the DMV. And that's what I was when I called. It was like 3 hours, good times, 3 hours. Gonna put you in a great mood, ready to deal someone. Customer service time, 3 hours, homie. But anyway, I asked her about this whole situation. I asked her, in Ohio, do you guys, if I just left Ohio without registering, would you charge me money for not registering? And she laughed and said, no, you just would go out of the system. Like, okay, cool. So can I get into your system then? And she's like, well, you don't have the title, so no. Sorry. But she was very nice about it, right? So I'm now kind of stuck in this weird situation where I can't, and actually this was all before I got the letter, right? I still want to get my car. And then one fateful day, like maybe a couple weeks ago, I got a letter. And it was one of the most threatening letters I've ever gotten. Here, here? Let's see. They're ready to garnish wages. They're ready to levy your bank account. They're ready to seize and sell, oh my God, your real or personal property. Jeez. File a lien and attach it to all real property that you may acquire in California. So I'm gonna, like, really? Is that what's gonna happen? There's gonna be people that own real estate and they're not gonna pay their DMV fines? This isn't gonna attack those people. This isn't for those people. That's for the people that are already broke. Like, if you have your Mercedes-Benz that you're driving around to each one of your apartment units, you're not gonna have issues in some stupid little $800 fine. Now, are you? Intercept your California state income tax refund, lottery winnings, like you wouldn't pay for your lottery, or unclaimed property. So, you know, they want their money because California's gone completely broke. They want all your money and mine too. Yeah. Yes, they do. So as I make these videos, I'm starting to think that I want to do it organized in a certain way. If you have noticed or you haven't noticed that in the very beginning, I want to give value. Like, if you've clicked onto this for a reason because you do have issues with the DMV, I don't want to screw off too much. I want it to be fun and entertaining, but I want to be able to give that quick amount of value. This is kind of something that I want to call the lesson. A lesson that I'm learning too is that if you actually look out and see what resources that you do have, you may have more than you think. Like, I completely forgot, as crazy as it is, my friend's wife, Lori, who is amazing, I forgot completely to even ask her about this. I looked on YouTube first. Sorry, Lori. But YouTube, not to say, but YouTube's a great resource. Google's a great resource. You don't know what resources you have until you ask. So when things go wrong in your life or whatever, and you kind of go through your memory banks to see, you might have more than you thought. The last thing I guess I'll say that I'm learning is, on the road to doing anything, there are so many little things that happen that are completely uncontrollable. Like, I had no idea that this was going to be this big obstacle on the way for me trying to start Amazon, because that's where this started. This started with e-commerce, and now here I am talking about this complete side mission. But if you have problems, you got to squeeze them and turn them into problem aid and drink them in the sun. Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to do with this. There are so many little things that happen along the road that I could either disregard and get mad and get all in a huff about, which believe me, I do. I have the happy public face on right now in the corners of my soul when I'm really mad. The world, why me, only me. God, it's so foolish. It's foolish, but it does give me content, because I know that if I'm going through this, I know other people are, and I know other people are because I searched it and found other videos and other entire groups. So many people are dealing with the BS that California is doing right now, and if you live there, you understand what the DMV means in California. You understand the DMV. When these big monolithic things, whether it's the California DMV or Amazon or whatever that's coming, they better watch out now, man. They can't mess with me. I'm gonna make a YouTube video if you're not nice. If you don't stop messing with me, I'm gonna talk about you on YouTube, and whoo, you messed with the wrong guy. Yeah, I'm powerful. I'm a powerful man. Yeah, right on. What am I doing, man? What am I doing? Oh, all right. So anyway, thanks a lot. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, subscribe. If you subscribe to my video, I'll subscribe to yours, because there's only been a few people, and I'm shocked and happy that those people did, that I actually reached a couple strangers. But if you subscribe to my channel and I see it, I'll subscribe to yours. So if you want a subscription, there you go. Cool. Anyway, if anybody is watching this, I feel I have a lot of editing to do.